الحمد لله وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. So I wanted to make a video that is going to be kind of a help and a guide for some people that are going to the book fair, especially students of knowledge that are going for the book to the book fair here in Cairo. And of course, every single year, Cairo has a book fair, and it's pretty much the highlight of my years. And besides, of course, like the actual Eids and whatnot. But for a student of knowledge, this is a very great time for someone to go to the book fair and also get to know about this. And why is this? Of course, it's because the books should be one of the most important things in a student of knowledge. He should love books, and he should have a very very a very dear relationship with the books that he reads. And of course, the books are the one of the biggest ways that a student is going to learn and also be able to study. Of course, there's no replacement for a sheikh, but when it comes to the individual and that individual's success, it comes to, is he reading books and he's able to study the books that he needs to study, and does he have that close relationship with it? And of course, this would be like your best friends are the books that you read all the time. And of course, like the relationship that a student of knowledge should have with his books is like the relationships that the Arabs would have with their like with their horses, or like we could say with people, how they get all into cars and whatnot, or they get into a certain subject and they're very very intrigued by it. This is something that a student of knowledge, he should get to know books. He should get to know what books are in each field, and also what publications are out there, and what are the certain companies that print these books, that he knows who they are and what they're about. Like some of these publications, like they don't care about anything other than money, and some of them they care about having a really fine product that's a finished product, and they really care about that. And some of them are kind of a mix of this and that, and also knowing who is the person who's doing tahqiq. And like tahqiq is when someone looks at they get like the written manuscripts of the book, and then they take these manuscripts and they put it into the book format, and they put it into a nice format where it's readable in the nice print that we are used to reading, and also with the format of how they like if there's hadith in there, what do they say about the hadith? Do they tell you where the hadith is found? Is it in Bukhari and Muslim, or is it in another place? And what's the hukm of the hadith? And all of these different things. And maybe there's things that the author, he made a mistake here, and then the muhakkik, sometimes he'll tell about, oh, this is a mistake that he made here, or he'll point you to the original text if there's something from the book that is like that's actually taken from another book. Then he'll point you to where's that original text from, and also give you some other benefits. Sometimes the this is what you would call like the hashia, which is at the bottom of the book. Sometimes this can be a lot. And of course, when someone's just reading a book and they're trying to get the general, they're trying to learn from the book in the first read through, sometimes they don't want to spend a lot of time in the hawashi, especially in like books of loga. So if you're like reading Sharh ibn Aqil for the first time, or you're reading the Sharh Qatr Nabda, you won't want to get lost in the hawashi, but you just want to read the text and understand that first, and then later when you go back, you can look at the hawashi and see all the extra benefits that are there. Now, this is something that you'll find out. There's certain people that do this tahqiq that are really well known, and they're very good. And sometimes it's someone we don't know who did it. And sometimes there's next to no tahqiq, which means that the text that comes has lots of mistakes in it. And whether that's like grammatical mistakes, or whether it's like misprinting of actual letters, like letters just get misprinted to where the word is like we don't know what this word is. Or sometimes just the print itself, like the ink doesn't come out on the page right, and there'll be problems with that, or it's like a really weak print on it, or it's white paper as opposed to yellow paper, which is easier to read on the eyes. If someone's reading for like a long period of time and they're reading on only white papers, their eyes are going to get worn out, and then it's going to hurt. And so these are all things to take into consideration when someone is thinking about books. And so it's important for someone to know what book is what like copy of the book is the best one to buy, because you don't just want to buy any copy of a book just because it's the book that you need, but you want to see what's out there first, and then you try to pick and choose according to that. And of course, the book fair, I'll talk about some of the benefits of the book fair after just this little introduction to the importance of books. And books are in a different, there's three different main categories if you were to break down your books that you would be reading into a few different categories. Of these, you'll have the ones that you're studying. So the book that you're studying is the one usually you'll be studying with a sheikh, or you'll be studying. Maybe you have like some recordings on YouTube that you're going to be studying this book, and maybe you're going to be going through it, and maybe just for yourself, but you need to study this book. You're going to write in the book. You're going to put a bunch of your details into it. So this book is a study book that you're going to go back to and you're going to review. In this case, you need to have an actual book that's a paper book in front of you, and this is something you're going to be writing in, and that you need to have all the benefit that you can. So when you have this book, you first off you'd want to see, like, is this book a good print? If it's a good print, then this is great. You want to find the good print and ask people around about the print before you just go out and buy a print. You ask people around, is this the best print? And of course, you see what you have in your budget, but to see if this is a good print or not. Because sometimes there'll be a print out there. Maybe it's famous because it's a lot of people have it, but there's a better print out there that would be much more suitable for your taste. So like look out there and see about this. But if this is a book that is for studying, this is something you need to have a paper book in front of you. It needs to be a nice book that you can go back to, you can write in, that you can put your notes in, and that you can maybe highlight certain things and certain paragraphs and certain like the subcategories and break it down. This is of course a book that you need a nice book for. And then there's another book which is just for reading and pondering. So sometimes you'll have like books that you're not necessarily studying it as a subject, but rather you're reading through it for benefits that are in it, and for just like you could say like mutala. That's like you want to go through and you want to read and you want to benefit from what has been written in this field of subject, or like this field of study that you're looking to read. And it's not something you're studying necessarily for yourself, but rather you're reading through it. And you can read through it kind of quickly to get exposed to all of the different sayings that are there. And this is another type. This type of reading, you don't necessarily always have to have paper in front of you. Maybe, of course, paper is easier, like to have a paper book. But if you had something like a Kindle Paperwhite, where you can read like the PDF, or you have something, maybe another type of e-reader or something, if you have the PDF, you don't need to spend money to read books. You can read off of that, and this is easy for someone to read if they're just trying to read for just to get exposed to the subject. Say maybe there's a certain book in a certain field that you want to read through it and see what there is what was said in that. But you don't necessarily need to write in the book. You don't necessarily need to put. You're not going to be studying this with the sheikh. So in this case, you can have something. If you want to save money, you could use a PDF for this, and this would save you a lot of time. If you're gonna read some books, if you see that there's a PDF and this is like gonna be easy, then you can kind of put this on the side and say, okay, there's already PDFs for this book. I can just, if I need the book, even if this is for research, maybe this is a book for research, you can see that, okay, I have PDFs of this book. It's okay. I get the PDF and then I can read or research what I need to, and then I can take it away. But I don't need to actually have the book with me, especially as all of us are on some type of a budget. And so then the last type is free reading, and free reading is kind of where somebody they want to read something, like in a random subject. They really just it's exploratory, And this is something, of course, like it's nice to have a book with you for like kind of this free reading. And if you need to, of course, you could probably have a PDF for this as well. But it's nicer to have, like, if you want to be comfortable with a book, it's nicer to have like the actual paper with you to do this kind of free reading. And so take this into mind, because when you are going and you want to spend money on books, make sure that you spend money on the books that are the most important. Because all of us are on a like we're all on a budget of some type, and so we need to make sure that we only put our money towards the things that is actually going to come back and help us. And there have been times when I buy a book, and then at the end of the day, I look at the copy of the book that I bought, and I'm like, this was something I'm probably never going to get to it and read all the way through this book. And yes, it's a good book, but it'd probably be better for me to like swap this out with another book, that I'm actually going to be studying and reading in depth. Because if I'm just using it for research, then I would just use a PDF for it, and this would save me money in this case. And so this is something to keep in mind when it comes to these books, that you're mindful of this, so you don't spend your money and put a bunch of money in a book that is going to give you a little bit of benefit, and that you could have you just like you can get a PDF, and it'll totally save you so much time and effort. Of course, buying books from like the actual publishers and from the authors or the muhakkik that you love and whatnot is a way to support them. So this is a good thing to do if you really care about a book and whatnot. and you want to spend time with it and whatnot, then of course like putting your money towards that is good. But of course, all of us students are on some type of limits and whatnot when it comes to this. And so also think about like the book that you're gonna buy. Think about if it is a, like, say you have a book that you need to study, and if you have this book that you need to study, then even if there's no good, try to see if there's a good publication for it. But if there's no good publication and your class is starting right up, just get whatever copy you need, but it needs to be paper because you're going to be writing in this book and you're going to be putting notes in it. And this is something that like putting notes, like I have an iPad, like an iPad, the paper, like the mini, and I can write notes in it. But when it comes to my notes that are in my iPad and the notes that are actually written into my books, the books are the ones that actually I can go back to and actually see that the notes that I wrote in there. And this is much better than writing in an iPad on a PDF, because that PDF is different, and there's a difference between writing on a like an actual paper book and writing on a PDF. And yes, there's benefits, but the benefit of a book is much, much better. And this is also something that sticks in your mind a lot better when you're writing in a book. And also, there's been studies, of course, when it comes to the people that do e-reading, as opposed they study on on like electronic devices, or they study on actual paper. The people that study on actual paper have better retention of what they're studying. So this is something definitely to keep in mind. And of course, keeping in mind the fact that the PDFs are a great resource though. And so this is, if it's going to be something that's coming up in this year, then you need to get that book. Try to get the best of the books that you can for this if you're going to be studying it. And if you can't find good, then just get whatever is available, and then just deal with that. And inshallah, there will be a good copy of the books that will come out in the future. It depends on the book, of course, and its like fame and whatnot, whether it's going to be given a lot of attention in the future, and sometimes it's just not given attention. Even if the book is an amazing book, nobody really took time to actually create that book in a beautiful way, such as like Majmur, the Sharh Muhaddab, Lil Imam al-Nawawi. Like this book, there's no good taba out there. Like I don't know, may Allah lead the publishers and some of the muhaqqiqin to go out there and get a good copy of this for us. But there's no good copy out there. But if you need it, you just get one of these ones, like Maktaba Tawfiqiyya. It's like it's Egyptian. And of course, like when it comes to tabats, Egyptian tabats are like the lowest ones. Like they're the cheapest ones. They're usually the most prone to mistakes. Occasionally, there's good ones. Like there's occasionally tabats that are good in Egypt that they actually care for something other than the money. But a lot of times they're just trying to get a flip. They get like makhtutat and they give it out there, and they're just wanting to get their money. And some of them they actually care, and so they try to keep the price very low. And this is a benefit of Egyptian tabat. But if you get something like from Beirut, or you get something from Syria or Turkey or some of these other places, these are going to be much better. Of course, Saudi Arabia, or like Qatar, these will be like really nice books, and the books will actually be nice and strong. And also, just to keep in mind, like book prices these days have gone up quite a bit because the price, um, so there's like the price of paper, right? The price of paper has gone up in like the last year. The price of paper like skyrocketed around the world, and this is not something that's specific to any place in particular. This is all around the world. The paper price skyrocketed, and so like the books that you would have bought in like a couple years ago, just the price of the paper itself is going to be double, you know. And so this is, if people bought before and then now they have the book that they bought before, they definitely they saved themselves a lot of money. And I'm very happy I bought books beforehand that I knew I was going to need. And then now when I see that their price has skyrocketed, I'm very happy I have it now. And also some of the books, when they're printed, they will be printed like once, and then the next time that they're printed, whenever that like group of books goes out, it will basically know that maybe it's left without them redoing, like having a reprint of it, like a republishing, and that book won't be available for a long time, and until like the publisher goes back and starts a whole nother round of reprinting that book. And sometimes you'll find that that book at the end of its print, when it goes out of stock everywhere, that the price of that book, it will skyrocket. And this is until they find another, either whether it's another publisher that prints it, or whether it's the reprinting of that same publisher, they reprint another one of that book. but this is sometimes things to keep in mind. So if you know that this is a book you're going to study in the future and you find it and it's something that you can afford, then you should like get that for yourself. Of course, putting priorities in the case, like looking at do you have your books that you're going to be studying this year? Do you have all of these books? Okay, then after that, you look at these other books that you're going to definitely need. Then you should get those if you have the money for it, because this is something in the future you don't know if it's going to be there. Um, and so now going back to like the actual book fair, I want to talk about just about the book fair. Like, what is it for? Is it just for deals on books? Someone was asking about this, and no, the book fair is not just about deals on books. And sometimes it's actually not deals on books at all. Like sometimes it's just a place for all the publishers to get together, and in a single place for people to get to know about the books that are out there, and also get to know about who's published what, and also get to look at books that maybe they wouldn't have been able to see except just like a picture online. But now they can actually go there, they can open up the book and see what it's like, and they can see if this is a print that's nice or if it's not. And then they can also see some of the new releases of books too, because some books they'll say we're going to release them, in the place that they release them a lot of times is at the book fair, and sometimes there's deals on these, and sometimes there's nice deals at the book fair, and sometimes the book fair prices are more expensive than you going to Dar es Salaam. And so, of course, you should always, when you look at the prices of books, don't think that because it's at the book fair, it's always going to be the best price. You have to look outside of the book fair to see what is going to be the price of this, because when you get inside the book fair, maybe their price is a lot higher because they have to pay for the cost of the table, they have to pay for the cost of them coming from wherever, like from another country to there, and then they have to pay for the different fees and whatnot. So there could be a lot of extra costs that are there, as opposed to someone who's selling it. Like I usually always like to look first in Dar es Salaam. I look at these at this. There's the one that's in Azhar, and there's also one that's in Medina Nasr. I usually look at them first and see if they have the book, and they usually have it at a better price than everyone else. It's not always. I've seen books that like from the publisher themselves, it'll be cheaper. So if you find, of course, like look at if you have a book that is from Muassasa Risala, and so then go to look at the actual store, like the actual store that's around Azhar, and there's another store in Haisaba and whatnot. Look at the actual store and see what they're charging, because this will usually be less than them. And but if you have a book that is not necessarily there, then go try Dar es Salaam. And also a way to find like the prices of books. Look on the website Dar es Salaam. It usually has a huge category of books that are out there, and look for the book that you're trying to find on there and get that price and write it down before you go into the book fair. So when you go into the book fair, you know, are they being fair or are they not? So you can see if that price is good or if it's not, because sometimes maybe you'll get that book outside and you'll save yourselves like maybe $100 or even more if you like put all these books together and whatnot that you bought outside of the book fair instead of inside. But at least you saw them, you got to know them, and that's the benefit of the book fair. And also some of the other benefits of the book fair is like just getting to know what other prints are out there, and also maybe you get to see some shuyukh that are there. Like sometimes, like I was able to meet one of the sheikhs that I was learning from online. I was able to see him there and actually get to meet him and just have a little bit of a conversation with him. And he ended up giving me books, and like just that whole like back and forth between the people there and whatnot. This is a whole experience in and of itself. And of course, if you're in the area of like the what is it, the hall 4. So if you're in like hall 4 or like hall 3, like this is going to be mostly tulab al ilm, like in shuyukh that are there going there to see this. So you're going to be with around a bunch of other people that are like-minded, you know, that are also students of knowledge and whatnot. And this is a great atmosphere and whatnot. And maybe you get to bump into some and have some encounters with people that you would never think that you would be able to see before. So this is of the benefits of going to the book fair. And also understand, like when you go to the book fair, there's of course there's 4 halls. There's like the first one, like the first hall. There's pretty much most of the books that are in the first hall, like hall 1, is mostly it's not like for tulab al-ilm. Like this is for like secular stuff. Of course, there's like Dar es Salaam is the biggest thing that you'll find there, and you might find some other books there. But most of the books that you'll be finding are going to be in the hall 4, or right what's right next to it, which is the hall 3. Like these two will have pretty much most of the books that like a talib al-ilm is looking for. And so that's where you'll spend most of his time. So if you have books for Dar es Salaam, like see when you're looking up the books, look up each one of the tabaat. Who's the publisher of this? And then make sure you put this, you're aware, this book I'm going to need to get from this publisher. And so you know all of the books you need to get from that publisher. So when you're in like the hall one, you know all of the books I need to get from Dar es Salaam. I'm going to ask them now. I'm not going to run over to the other place and then say, oh, I needed this book, and then I got to go back, and then I'm going to waste all my time that I could have been over there. Of course, going back and forth carrying books is tiring. So this is one way. And also know that like one day is not going to be enough. Like the book fair, for someone who's going there and wants to get the actual feel of the book fair, the first day they'll get the feel of what's going on, who's where. They'll see like the different books and whatnot. Maybe this person needs at least 2 days, or 3 days of being at the book fair to actually know who's got what books there and what books he needs to get, and also get a like an idea of the prices of what is going around. And so this, and sometimes just having like a first day to get your feet wet, and get to know, okay, well, this book is in this place and these publishers are here and these are the prices that they're giving, this other person's giving a different price. And if you find a book that you're wanting to get, don't just buy from the first person that has it. See that, and then run around, and if you see other people with the same book, ask them their price, ask this person their price, ask this person their price, and you'll see who has a good price. And sometimes you'll save yourself a lot, by just checking from one place to another. Also, make sure that you, as I mentioned, check the prices on Dar es Salaam. Like look Dar es Salaam online. They have their website, and this is actually the website that you'll find almost all of the people that are selling books. Not Dar es Salaam, all the other people. They always go back to this website to see what is the price there, and this is where they usually will get their price, and then they deal with they'll set the price based on what is there, whether they need to cover costs for like the rent and whatnot. So they'll fix this into their price, but they will always look at this because it pretty much shows the list price of most of the books. Not all the books are on there, but a big majority of the books are there. Also, there's another website if you want to check like good book prices, and it's mostly for Darul Diya and also Darul Minhaj and also Darul Fajr, Darul Kathir. It doesn't have all the books like from these publishers. It doesn't have all of them, but it has a lot from them, and it has the best prices. And this is Muhibb al-Kutub. So look up like Muhibb al-Kutub. And they basically come to Medina Nasr. They probably won't come during the fair, but usually they come like once a week, and they come to Medina Nasr, and they have very, 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 very good prices that are usually better than anyone else. If you are going to Ali's book fair, I mean your bookstore, like you're gonna get the worst prices there. Like just going to Azhar would save you so much, from when it comes to prices in Egypt. Don't go to like Ali's bookstore, like Nur al Islam, or he's got two branches. So he's got one branch in Arba Nus, and he's also got another branch there. And sometimes he has a book that nobody else has, and this is good. But like if this is not the case, if you're just buying from him, see if you can get a better price from other people, especially from like Azhar, and save yourself. I don't even want to talk about like the amount of money that can be saved by not going to him. Like I rarely go to him unless I'm desperate and there's no other book except that he has it. It's the only time that I go to him, and I hope that he gives people the Ajnabi price. And so like he definitely puts a big, if you ever do compare prices with him, you'll see it's huge. So also, and this is in regard to the prices. And so when you see there, maybe you'll find that there's good prices in the book fair, and maybe you won't. Sometimes there'll be actual like offers that come around for like certain books. I got there the last year. There were certain books that were like there was about 2,000 like pounds, 2,000 guinea that were like dropped from a couple like major books. So I got them right away, and I'm very happy I got them at that price. And then like now I think about, well, one of them for like 5,500, and now it's like 10,000. And so of course, like yeah, the dollar changed the price of everything, but also like the actual book itself, like I came up on top. That I bought it at that time, even though maybe I've only looked at a few things in the book because I haven't gotten to that level yet. But when I got the book, I got it at a good price, and it's going to be with me, inshallah, for a long time. And this is some of those benefits if you find a book like that. Also, when it comes to your budget, look, make your money, know how much money you have to spend, and put the money on one side that is going to be for the actual books that you have a list that you must have this because you're going to be reading these in the near future, and you need to be studying these. Of course, this is like your purposeful budget, but also put a portion of your money on the side that is your free money. That like you walk around, you find a book, this is cool, buy the book. So like have a portion of free money because that will give you that'll give you like a bit of fun when you go to the fair, like the book fair, and you can actually have a you didn't weren't planning to buy this book, but you think this is interesting and I should probably get this book. So have a portion of money set aside for that, and that's a good thing. As far as getting to the book the book fair, if you go to like if you go to if you're in like Medina to Nasr, usually at the major bus stations there will be someone around the time of the book fair that they'll say Ma'rad Kitab, Ma'rad, and then so there'll be someone yelling for that, and it's usually a cheap price to go take one of those vans, those buses, to go to the Ma'rad, and so this is the easy way to get there. As far as the return, sometimes it's harder. I've been there at times where I found a bus to come back, and they would take me back to like High Asher. They would get me back to High Asher, and I just take like a tuk tuk and whatnot to go back home. But sometimes I've been stuck there, and there was no one coming. There was no buses coming back, and so like I had to find like an actual taxi to take me. And the taxis sometimes they will double, triple the prices because they know you're out and far away. And the Ubers a lot of times they won't come and get you. They do their own thing. Ubers a lot of times they refuse. They'll see where the person is and they'll refuse to come get you. So be mindful of this and maybe try like some of the other. There's other like I think it's InDrive or some of these other apps that can get you someone to come and pick you up. But a lot of times Uber and these apps are not reliable. So if you go over there and you expect to get an Uber on the way back, maybe you're left out there for an hour. I've been stuck out there before. So make sure you have a way to get back and that you know that it's going to be more pricey if you can't find a bus to come back, and the buses aren't reliable especially if you're late. So this is one thing to keep in mind. Also about the if you get a ticket, if you want to get in there, you'll probably have to get a ticket online. When I was looking over this, usually there'll be a online portal for you to get a ticket, and it'll be like something that you have in your phone. You can just show them the phone, and they'll get you a ticket to come in. And it'll be something. Maybe you buy like 4, 5, 6 tickets, however many times you think you're going to go in, and maybe buy a couple extra so that people around you, if they want to come with you, then you bought some for them, and they can just scan it a couple times, and you all can go in together. So these are some basic things about the book fair, and I'm very excited this year, inshallah, like to buy books and whatnot. And I hope that you all are able to find the books that you're looking for. And this video is a little bit long, and I know that I didn't talk about individual books. Of course, this is a whole nother thing, but try to do your research for your books before you buy them, and also get to know the books that are out there and the different publishers. And inshallah, this will be something that is very beneficial for you all. And I hope that this has helped for you to get an understanding of what is the book fair about and what is it like and whatnot. And if you have any questions and whatnot, feel free to leave any questions or comments down below. وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت وأستغفرك وأتوب إليك.